Trekcast.
The galaxy's most unpredictable Star Trek podcast.
Live from Idaho. Where do you live? Idaho.
Not Iowa.
Michigan. Hey, this is Trekcast, the galaxy's most unpredictable Star Trek podcast. Today on the show, we are going to be reviewing They Cloned Tyrone.
That's right.
Plus, we got pop culture news and your listener feedback. I'm Scott Bouters, and now, with a 100% fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes, it's Daniel Reyes.
I don't know if I got 100%.
100%, my friend.
Oh man, how you doing, buddy?
I'm peachy.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about this movie.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite the time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. How's your week been? Anything new?
Week's been good. It's been really hot. It's been in the 90s. It's been humid. Doesn't seem to be the word to cover it. It's been wet, not raining. No. It's just been wet. So really hot. But otherwise doing good.
Yeah,
so
good. Yeah, next few days we have one of those. A little bit of a heat trend. So so we'll see what happens. But I'm all nervous, man. Tomorrow's the day.
Tomorrow's the day for
my contest. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So I haven't really explained it on the show, but this is a pretty big contest. The way it works is it's a year-long contest, but every month they do one winner for that month, right? Yep. And then at the end of the year, the 12 winners throughout the year compete for a grand prize. And so I'm in the grand prize round. So
wow.
I just have to beat 11 other people.
Okay.
So we'll see. But yeah.
Well, we all have our fingers crossed.
We're
pulling for you. So
I was telling my dad last night. I'm like, I'm either gonna be really happy on Monday or really bummed out. There's not gonna be
oh boy.
Boy. I mean, this is the one saving grace I have about it is I have worked very hard on it. I've worked with professionals on it. I'm at peace if I don't win.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have done anything more.
Well, there's nothing else you could ask for of yourself.
Right. So So
So
that's the one saving grace I have about it. But
well, good luck to you. I'm sure I speak for everybody who's listening, when I say good luck, and so you'll have to give us an update.
I'll let you know. Or there won't be a show next week because I'll be so sad.
Oh no. Well, there's not gonna be a show next week because I'm
that's right.
4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
So to let everybody know, next week is 4th of July weekend. So we're not going to be doing
no show next week. And then the week after that, we will come back for our Strange New Worlds prediction show. So.
Yes. And the week after that, also the week after 4th of July weekend is the Capital City Comic-Con in Lansing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I am going to be going to that. Garrett Wong, Ensign Kim's going to be there. So
that's right.
I'm going to represent Trekcast. And
is your buddy Robbie going to be there?
I don't know. Unfortunately, Robbie, Robert Duncan McNeil for all you
that's
people.
Right.
He's not going to be there, but Ensign Kim's going to be there. So
I'm
gonna do my thing. I'm gonna ask him the hard hitting questions. I'm gonna represent Trekcast. And
what question are you gonna ask him?
Maybe a little bit of gotcha journalism.
Okay. All right.
I took a poll on Trekcast and we had thousands of people submit their questions to ask for Ensign Kim, and I'm going to ignore all of them and ask the same question I always ask everybody. I'm going to ask him who's the best cook.
There you go.
So
there you go. I like it.
It's gotten a great response from every Star Trek.
It's pretty good, right? Because it's pretty universal.
It always works, and it was your idea. It was your idea, so that's fantastic. It's always got a laugh. It always
it's one they don't get a lot. So
they don't. It always produces some really good conversation and a really good response. So
I like it. Awesome. Well, let's get to the entertainment news since it's a supplemental this week.
Yeah.
So we'll do some entertainment news. Right. So our first news story comes to us from Variety, and I thought we'd want to talk about this, but apparently there is now a short list for the next James Bond. It was announced earlier this week that Denis Villeneuve, the guy who directed the Dune movies, will be directing the next James Bond. And apparently he's got a short list of who his dream James Bonds are. It's either going to be Jacob, was it Aldori, Tom Holland,
Sure,
or Harris Dickinson. That's the three guys in order. So there's Jacob, there's Tom, and there's Harris.
I've never heard of Jake. I've never heard of Harry.
Yeah, me either.
I love Tom Holland. I've seen him in a couple of films that wasn't Spider-Man based. And,
right.
Yeah. I don't like Tom Holland for James Bond.
I don't either, man.
Because he doesn't. Because he doesn't look gritty enough. Not that Tom Holland doesn't have grit, but
right.
I don't think he looks gritty enough.
Right.
So, whatever.
I don't want to be sitting there thinking, why doesn't James Bond just web him up?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. James Bond is going to have a spidey sense.
Yeah.
That's why he never dies.
He's making out with some girl, and you're like, that's not Zendaya.
A lot of fans that I saw online wanted to see, and there was some talk about it, Henry Cavill. And I thought
I've seen that.
That's a great,
where Idris has been popular.
He's got a little bit, he's gritty.
Yeah.
So, okay, whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know about the other guys. I mean, if I'm going based off of looks, I think Harry kind of pulls it off the closest.
Yeah.
Like in the books, James Bond is not like a good looking guy. He's just plain.
Right.
Yeah. So
okay, that
could work, but whatever. We'll see what happens. I'm just hoping with Denis Villeneuve, they do the Dune, like that loud hiya or whatever that.
Right.
Yeah. Every time he shoots somebody, just do that sound effect.
Dune's one of those things, that everybody loved Dune. Everybody loved Dune, and I fell asleep.
I didn't love it and I didn't hate it. I was just like, it's fine.
Yeah. I have I saw the first movie. I have no desire to see anything else. I just whatever.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see when we get the casting, but that's that James Bond news. All right. Our next story comes to us from Deadline. I thought, with our age group, this would be fun to talk about. And in Deadline, a very young Frankenstein series from Mel Brooks is in the works. It's going to be produced by the same producers from the What We Do in the Shadows team, and they're nearing a pilot at FX. So,
really?
Yes. So we don't know much about it. We don't know if this would be a reboot, a prequel. Is it going to be, in line with the old classic movie? Is it going to be a completely new universe? We don't know, right?
Okay.
We don't know if they're going to get a really young guy and it's Dr. Frankenstein's, journeys before the movie. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's called A Very Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
I grew up, of course, watching Young Frankenstein. It was, I remember watching it over and over and over on VHS.
Yep.
Mel Brooks is, I'm a fan. Happy birthday to Mel Brooks. He just turned 99.
Yeah.
So, he's
still getting work in Hollywood.
He's still working. Yeah, he's still working. He's still doing his thing. Spaceballs 2. There's a lot of hoopla about that.
Mm-hmm.
Gene Wilder was great in this. I wouldn't mind seeing what they come up with.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I don't know if you ever watched the What We Do in Shadows series.
No, I didn't.
Seen the movie. The movie is hilarious. Like, oh my god, I've never laughed harder at a movie than What We Do in Shadows.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. But they did a show based off of it. I've seen a few episodes. That show is great, man. It's like a
Okay. Well,
documentary series about vampires.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. So there you go, Deadline. So we don't know yet if they'll do a pilot yet. They're still in the development stage, but just the fact that this is out, they're definitely trying to build up steam for it. So cool.
You know what I need to do? I need to go, and I was going to say go back, but I haven't seen a ton of Mel Brooks movies. In fact, I don't
Okay.
know if I've ever seen Spaceballs all the way through.
What?
Yeah, if I have, it was decades ago.
Okay.
So I need to go back and watch some old, Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder and
Yeah.
some of those older movies, because some of them slipped under the radar for me when I was younger, because a lot of these movies came out in the 80s.
Right. Right.
And I saw these movies. The only way I would see these movies is if my aunt would record them when she had HBO, and she'd record them on VHS, and she'd record like 3 movies on one VHS tape, recorded on like EP mode and stretch it out onto one VHS tape, and then give me the VHS tape every time I saw her. So like once a month, I'd get a new VHS tape with like 3 very low quality movies that came on HBO.
Fair enough.
And Young Frankenstein was one of those movies.
All right. Well, we'll do a couple quick stories real quick. Our next story comes to us from people.com. I just saw this today and I thought it was kind of nice. But starting next year, the Nichelle Nichols Space Camp for Teen Girls is set to open. This will be in Huntsville, Alabama. It is going to be for teen girls. I believe the ages are 14 to 18, and it is designed to break barriers for women and into the space program. So I didn't see anything about like scholarships or what the plan is, but it is designed for this to inspire women to get into STEM, I guess is what they call it. Yeah. So I think that was neat.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I love programs like this. Anything to
me
get
too.
people excited about space and science and STEM and all that.
Yeah. So I figure for people out there that's got daughters or relatives that are young or whatever, it's a nice little thing, and it'll be starting next year. So that's great.
Yeah, and I love stuff that focuses on, like, this is focusing on young girls, because it's a demographic that historically a much lower percentage got into these types of, I would imagine even now, even in 2025, the percentage of people that work at NASA it's got to be over 50% male.
I mean, does that count all the aliens that have in Area 51 or?
Well, I guess
because that's different.
Other alien cultures, it might be like reverse. It's like that episode of The Next Generation, Angel 1, where it was predominantly female. So there could be a situation where the little green aliens are,
and then the robots that we don't know about.
Well, if it's a fembot dominated society, then
as it is,
then we need little teenage, the teenage boys need a role model to get into the space program.
That's right. For all those fembots in space.
That's right.
All right. And then our last news story. I thought this was just crazy, so I had to share it. Let's see, who is this from? From Hindustan Times. Actor William Shatner surprises fans with losing 50 pounds at 94 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. Which, honestly, if you're 94, are you really trying at that point?
Well, at 94, you don't want to like mess with the equilibrium of your system. Don't change anything. It's like going to the doctor at 94 and you're drinking and you're smoking and you're eating crap.
Yeah.
If I was a doctor, I'd be like, don't change anything. Because I think the sudden shift in your system would be more detrimental than anything else.
Well, he said that he got over 300 pounds and he had hip replacement surgery. So it was getting tougher to move. So he needed to lose the weight. Okay. So he did it and he feels a lot better. He also says he's more active now than he used to be, which is crazy because he's always seemed pretty spry.
More active now at 94.
Yeah. I feel ashamed now, man. Jeez.
I was gonna say I hope in my mid 70s I'm what he's at 94.
Yeah. Because like we were just talking last week, he was doing a show with Dr. Tyson out in Seattle. Like this
Yeah.
guy's traveling, like just doing shows at 94,
Yep.
losing
I
weight.
want to be him in my mid-70s. I want to be a beloved former sci-fi star.
Yeah. And apparently, for those of you who are wondering, how do you lose weight at an advanced age? Because that's crazy. He says he reportedly eats fruit and tea for dinner, and he stays away from heavy meals. So there you go.
Well,
He
there
uses
you go.
food as fuel, not comfort, he says.
That's kind of how not heavy meals. I mean, it was a calorie thing. That's how I lost 30 pounds in 6 months. I stopped eating as much. It wasn't a super secret,
eat
kind
less,
of thing.
do more.
Yeah, that's it. That was it. Yeah, eat less, do more. So,
which is what he's done.
Good
More
on
active.
him. Good on him. I mean, say what you will about William Shatner, and many people have.
And many people have.
But yeah, good on him. 94, losing weight.
That's crazy. So
he's definitely a role model for certain aspects.
Yes. People are messy. There's good sides, there's bad sides, but this is good. So great for him. All right.
Yep.
And that's all the entertainment news. So yeah, you ready to go into the spotlight? Talk about Tyrone?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm about to get decimated.
Oh no. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, let's get into the spotlight. All right, so we are talking about a Netflix film called They Cloned Tyrone. For those of you who are not familiar with it, it's been on Netflix for a couple of years. Currently stands at a 95% critic score on Netflix. It is a film starring John Boyega and Jamie Foxx. There are also appearances by David Alan Grier and Kiefer Sutherland, surprisingly.
Yeah, that was random.
That was very random. It is labeled a sci-fi comedy mystery. The premise is kind of weird. Basically, a drug dealer who is played by John Boyega gets shot and killed as he's doing his criminal acts, and then he wakes up the next day, doesn't remember the murder, and everyone is like, "Why are you back? You were killed." And from there, we get the whole mystery about who cloned Tyrone. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It turned out to be an organization on a planet called Camino.
That's right. That's right.
Where they produced all the clone troopers.
It's weird because all the clones say hello there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love John in this movie. He played Finn in Star Wars trilogy.
That's right. Phantom Menace.
Yeah. The sequel trilogy.
That's right.
The sequel trilogy. This had a fantastic cast. I loved everybody. When David Alan Grier showed up, I'm like, oh, there's David Alan Grier.
Yeah. I thought Jamie Foxx was great in it.
Oh, I love Jamie Foxx
as the pimp.
John Boyega, great. Who played the woman who played Monica Rambeau in the Marvel universe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
she played Yo-Yo.
Yeah, she's the lady of the night.
And I loved it because I didn't realize it was her until most of the way through the movie, and I'm like, who is that? And I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, okay. So definitely a dynamic actress.
Do you want to read your text that you sent me after watching this movie?
Yes,
so we can. Yeah, I think that's a great way to start. Your opinion of the film.
I think you're absolutely right.
So, yeah, this is. You guys have to remember when I suggested this movie, I had never seen it. I only knew that it had a high score and that it had these great actors in it. So I had been wanting to see it. We needed an idea for the show, so that's why I suggested it.
Yep.
And then Scott beat me to it and wrote me a lovely message.
So he texted me and he said this just got 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I said, okay, cool, I'm down. And so I watched the movie, and this was the text that I sent. Lombardo, if you can hear me, it's a trap. Don't watch this movie. Although it has a fantastic cast, it sucks harder than a cougar at a frat house. This subpar avant-garde bullshit movie absconded with nearly an hour and a half of my life before I escaped with 40 minutes left. Daniel, you are off my Christmas card list.
That's right.
So, I do have to go on to say, I said it's not for us. And I said in my text that I'm not going to do this, although I'm doing it by reading it. I won't go into a speech about how I wasn't against the black culture aspect of the movie because I enjoyed Menace to Society and Friday. I didn't enjoy the pacing, the writing, although the screenplay, the story was okay, or the visuals. I did like the actors, loved David Allen Greer cameo, and the main plot. It was compelling, just not enough to compensate for the aforementioned issues to keep me to the end. Everybody disagrees with me on this. It got a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's a critic score.
That's a critic score. 83% for audience.
83 for audience. Yes.
And again, it wasn't a culture thing for me.
No. Yeah.
And
just some movies don't scratch your itch. It happens.
It was a pacing thing for me. I felt like it was spinning its wheels for a good portion of the movie. Okay. I did go back and I did finish the movie.
Okay.
So it ended kind of the way that I thought it was going to end. But I love the cast. Love the cast. I thought that the main trio they were great.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Foxx is great. I thought John Boyega did a fantastic job. I thought his accent was pretty good. Because he's a British actor.
Right.
And this takes place in Chicago.
They call it the Glen, so I think it's supposed to be some sort of Midwestern suburb.
Midwestern. Okay, so
maybe
the outskirts of Chicago.
Yeah.
Really crappy part of whatever town it was in.
Whatever town, yeah.
So there were certain aspects I liked, but just not enough to keep me engaged.
Okay.
I had to turn the movie off with about 40 minutes left because I just, I look over my wife and she's sawing logs and, so.
Apparently I'm on her shit list too.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote that down. It's like, you're on Desiree's shit list too.
Yeah. I watched it.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
You loved it.
I loved it. It's not like the best movie I've ever seen, but I thought it was pretty great.
Okay.
I remember watching the first 15 minutes and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Why
Where's
is he
the
so
sci-fi?
bad? It seemed okay so far. I think so this movie reminds me of another movie. I don't know if you've ever seen it, called Sorry to Bother You. Have you heard of that film?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Okay. So that movie, it's about a guy who gets a job at a telemarketing company. It stars Terry Crews is in it. I forget the main actor's name. But Danny Glover's in it as well.
Oh, Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Tessa Thompson's in it too.
Yeah. That movie, I don't want to say too much about that movie because it takes a hard turn in the middle of it and becomes this bonkers thing. Which is kind of what happens to this movie. This movie
it's got a crazy cast. Armie Hammer.
Yeah.
I might have to check that out.
I don't know if you want to, especially if you didn't like this one.
If I didn't like this one, I don't know.
You didn't. Yeah. If you didn't like this one, I don't know if you'll like
this. I'm surprised I didn't like this because it had some old school Quentin Tarantino vibes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's definitely some nods to black exploitation films.
Yeah.
There's nods to 90s gangster movies as well. There is very clearly a there's a filter in Adobe Premiere that you make your movie look grainy, and they very clearly just dump that on the whole thing.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Jackie Brown.
Yeah. Desiree says, I just couldn't engage with it. I was out within the first 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, she was.
Yeah.
After the first 2 minutes, she was on her phone, and I'm like, "Are you interested in this?" She's like, "Not really. This is not really for me." And I'm like,
yeah. I think too, though, because I've been so involved with screenwriting now, one of the things that I look for is the themes of movies.
Sure.
And I think that this movie is supposed to be a critique of capitalism.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the premise of it. You know, I don't want to get too much into the ending or anything like that, but I think there's some great moments too with the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, Jamie Foxx is hilarious throughout the whole thing, and he's got so many funny little one-liners that he just drops. That I imagine they're improv. I don't think I could see a writer writing every single one of those lines.
Yeah, in fact, I think I read somewhere where a lot of the interactions between him and Yo-Yo were improv.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just for me a big part of it was pacing. I love the story idea.
The story's pretty decent.
I really like the story.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't up my alley execution style.
Right. And that's fine. Sometimes that happens.
And I understand too, like, you and I watching a movie, we definitely are watching everything you and I watch are being watched through two very different sets of eyes.
Right.
You as a screenwriter and me as sort of, I'm like a dog chasing cars or a baby looking at keys. I'm not looking at it with a very critical eye. I'm just like, do I like it or do I not like it? You know
what's going to happen is Dan's going to watch it and he'll be like, it's just a movie. He didn't hate it. He didn't love it.
Like,
it'll
I
just
give it a 50%.
Yeah. Just mellow.
Was this movie better than Sideways? Yes, it was. But
okay. All right. That's the scale. Good to know.
Yeah, that's the scale.
That's the scale. Yeah. Jasmine says, what was that lady doing in the back of the car, Daniel? That's none of your business, sir. It's none of your business. You just move right along.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Keep going.
That's right.
It's kind of like you and I watching movies. It's kind of like critiquing wine. Okay, now you might be a wine connoisseur. You know where all the grapes come from, and you've sampled the expensive ones and the cheap ones, and you know that some of the cheap ones are good and some of the expensive ones are better, and you can detect notes of this and that and the other thing. And I don't know anything about wine, but I know what I like.
Yeah.
So a wine, just like a movie, can be good, it can be bad. The wine critic might hate it. The guy like me might love it, or vice versa. I'm sure this was, it's hard for me to give any movie a terrible score because there's so much that goes into a movie. And I think I've said this before a long time ago. It's hard for me to give a movie less than a 5 out of 10, just because there's so much effort involved, and there was a lot of talent here, and there was a lot of the acting I thought was pretty good. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I got to give credit where credit is due. But this definitely doesn't go above a 5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, and that's fine.
It was a movie. It was made. I acknowledge the effort making that movie, the money, the people behind the scenes. But so
you sound like I sound with most musicals. Like, I get there's talent there, but it's just not for me.
It's just not for you, right?
Yeah. That's fine. Apparently, originally, Brian Tyree Henry was set to star in this. He is the guy, for those of you who aren't sure. He was in that Ryan Reynolds movie, Free Guy. He played the buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. I forget what else he's been in. But he was originally going to be in the John Boyega role. But then ultimately John Boyega got it. So, yeah. Which I think it's better with Boyega, because as much as Brian Henry, he's not that hard of a dude. He's a comedy guy.
Right,
So,
right, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I was just gonna go over some of the. It was hard to find the rotten of the Rotten Tomatoes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I felt like I had to back myself up a little bit,
Hmm.
and I'm
Yeah,
actually looking for the rotten. There's
yeah.
not a ton. Um, uh, Mike on Rotten Tomatoes. These are all critic scores. The satirical component is always behind the mystery of protagonists who are trying to solve, but then it skews
Hmm.
towards a thriller without renouncing what is already established.
Hmm.
I sort of get that too. For me, yeah, I kind of agree in that it took a turn or kind of early in the movie that it was weird. It took a direction that I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting.
So
Um,
for a little bit there, a few years ago, there was what people were calling a subgenre of black absurdist films.
mhm.
So like, sorry to bother you, this movie, they kind of fall into that camp. There's a few others. You might even say that the TV glows, or I forget the name of it, the glow of the TV. That's another one. But there's a few of them out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Owen, who's a top critic at Rotten Tomatoes,
Okay.
uh, I think he says kind of what I was thinking. He goes, simply put, They Cloned Tyrone has a good setup, but the film is too sketchy and conceptual to work as a bad dream thriller. And he goes on to say it establishes Julie Taylor as a director of craft and a certain audacious nerve. So,
Mm,
and I agree with that. Um,
yeah.
but I was expecting to see it differs in a movie that takes a turn that I wasn't expecting. In that I was expecting there was going to be a sci-fi twist, and just by the
Yeah.
title, I knew what it was going to be. Um, but it
And that
just
was the sci-fi twist, the cloning.
that was the
Yeah.
sci-fi twist.
Yeah.
Well, and then the whole underground, you know,
Right. Yeah.
that kind of thing.
The
Why they were doing it. That
conspiracy.
was the
Yeah.
conspiracy, and the scale
Yeah.
of it was sort of the big like reveal. You know, but
One thing I looked up was Julie Taylor's, because that's one of the directors and writers. There, because I don't know if Julie Taylor's a man or a woman. I didn't look that part up, but oh yeah,
not
it's
a
a
clue.
guy. It's a guy.
Okay.
It says he wrote. Okay. So he's written some other films. He wrote They Cloned Tyrone, but he's kind of got a mixed bag. He wrote Creed 2, for those of you who saw that, and he also wrote Space Jam: A New Legacy, the one with LeBron. So
I haven't seen either one, although they are on my list.
yeah, Creed
Creed
2's
2 more than
okay, but not
Space
great.
Jam. Okay.
Um,
I liked Creed.
Creed was really good.
Yeah.
Creed 2 is like a drop, but still good. Um,
Okay.
I don't know about Creed 3 because I never got around to it, but
Nope. Me neither.
yeah, yeah. And Space Jam, I've just read terrible, terrible things about.
I love the original one.
The original's good, but apparently the
Yeah.
second one is really bad,
Yeah.
like
Sometimes when they
cartoonishly
make
bad.
movies like that, they're just trying to recapture, I think Space Jam 2 was a money grab, but
I feel like they should have just done other sports, like the original
yeah.
plan. They they
Yeah.
they had tried to do one with Tony Hawk.
Okay.
They were going to do
Yeah.
Space Skate, so
That'd have been fun.
yeah.
That'd have been fun.
But yeah, They Cloned Tyrone. Apparently on Trekcast, it is a mixed bag. You're either gonna love it or hate it. But I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I think
you've got a long way to go to get back on my Christmas card list.
there you go.
Reyes.
There you go. We'll watch Paddington. You'll feel much better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Paddington will
I
set
still have to
things
watch.
right as rain.
I still have to watch Paddington 2. I've seen Paddington 1.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that one will change your life.
Paddington 1 was the okayest movie I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, I give it a solid B minus. That was
Yeah.
The
It's the
smoothest
setup.
ride. Yeah, it was
Paddington is Batman Begins, but Paddington 2 is The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Boy, you're putting that up on a
I
high
mean,
pedestal.
I don't want to oversell it, but it changes you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah. So apparently They Cloned Tyrone was released in theaters. Just a really small release. It's mainly just a Netflix movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So there we go. But let's have people X up in the chat
Absolutely.
for
Tell us
listener feedback.
what you think.
That's right. Maybe while we're getting ready for that, we can also tell people, since we'll tell them a little bit earlier, we also are on social media, all the social medias, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Threads. We're all over this place. We also have got our phone number that you can reach out to us at. You want to give that the number, Scott?
Yeah. So give us a call, leave us a voicemail. You can say anything you want to. We'll play it. So you can call us at 570-661-0001. And that number again is 570-661-0001. And that's a Google voicemail thing. So nobody's going to pick up and answer the phone. So you just all you got to do is just leave a message, and we'll play it on air.
There you go. All right. Well, let's get to listener feedback.
Listener feedback.
All right. Well, he's waiting on the line already. We got Chazbiz. Let's bring him in. There he is. Chazbiz,
Hey, there
you watch the movie?
Yeah.
What'd you think? You're gonna break the tie here.
I think the pacing was too slow.
Okay.
I think they needed an editor. 2 hours is too long for that movie. It should have been 90 minutes.
That I would agree with for sure.
If they would have edited the movie, made it tighter, moved the pace along faster.
It should have been like an hour 40, I think.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's my issue with Netflix movies. They don't believe in editors. And they just keep filming and they just leave everything in there. And I don't know. They're kind of dull, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the Netflix movie, you don't have to, I don't know. I mean,
how many Netflix movies have you gone back to watch?
None.
Yeah.
And
and I've seen some good Netflix movies.
Yeah.
But they're just, the pacing is just they're long. Even some of the movies that I really liked, like Enola Holmes. Great movie.
Yeah.
I only saw it once. Same thing with the sequel. Only saw it once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I watched The Old Guard and I thought that was very okay. Mm-hmm. Not great, not terrible. It was just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's the Ryan Reynolds one, Free Guy. That was a Netflix movie, right?
No, that was out in theaters. Free Guy?
No,
was that out in theaters?
Yeah, Free Guy was out in theaters.
The other one is something project.
You're thinking like 600 Drown.
No,
it goes back in time. No, it goes back in time.
Oh yeah, the back in time one. Yeah.
Yep, that I remember that one. That was a good movie. I only saw it once.
Yeah. The thing is, Netflix movies, they all feel the same, like story wise. There's reasons for that. I don't know if I want to like blow it up and make everybody
probably the same. Probably the same team of writers.
No. There's how do I put this? There's different formats on how to do a screenplay, and they all use the same one. That's why they all feel the same. Yeah.
And my issue is like, I think they need to show some of these movies in the movie theater.
Kevin's Trekkie says, I agree with Chazbiz. Netflix has an issue with allowing too much ad lib, off script type material, which takes you out of the scene. Yeah. It's because, it's not like a movie at a movie theater where they're trying to, get the story out and get the movie done so they can turn around and do another, ability to make money. Whereas you're right. If they were in a theater, they would have that incentive. So because of that, they care more about timed watch.
Yes.
So they just let them, whatever, man.
That's why you see like their series go almost the full hour than like 45. Like Disney, like you watch Star Wars show on Disney, it's only 35 minutes and 10 minutes of credits.
Right.
So,
but Disney, I think, has wisely decided that yes, the time watch is important because that's how they factor things, but they rather keep the numbers smaller and actually maintain a fuller percent of watched, as opposed to like, oh, we went on Netflix and they watched 7 minutes in and then changed to something else, but they stayed on Netflix. So like Disney in theory is going more for quality, and Netflix is more going for quantity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the quantity is, I don't know. I hate Netflix's algorithm. Like you watch something that disappears, or you add something, you don't see it. And
my problem with it is my whatever I was watching thing keeps moving like further down, so it's hard to like. Yeah, so it's like I was watching something, I was in the middle of it,
and then you forget it because there's all this other crap on there, and you get distracted, and you're like, "What was I watching?"
Yeah,
you almost have to write it down. Get a notebook out and write it down.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. Yeah, that's how I am with The Bear right now. I'm only watching one episode a day, and because it stresses me out too much, that show.
Well, it reminds you, if you ever worked in a restaurant, it reminds you you're working in a restaurant. So
yeah, very much so.
I remember these days.
So, Jasmine, you didn't say though. Did you like it? Not like it? Give us one or more. Like,
I give it a half a hand job. So,
oh wow,
yeah.
Half a hand job. Wow.
So we should probably explain in this movie. There are one of the main characters is a prostitute. Okay, the prostitution plays a
surprisingly big role.
Big role in the story. Yeah. It's not gratuitous. There, I don't think there's any outright nudity in the.
No. Scene of her in the back of the car and the wrist actions going. So
yeah. Well, there's a scene where they're using the prostitute to relay information, but they know they're being watched, so they have to pretend that they're engaged in all these different sexual acts that they're not actually engaged in, but from far away it looks like they're. So
it's great.
I'm sure if Dan were here, he could sort of demonstrate.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That part was funny. So
you don't see that in a movie. So.
Well, no, that's the first time I've seen that particular type of setup.
Yeah.
It's
I did laugh at that.
Horrible Bosses. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
When they hired Jamie Foxx and he's that character.
Yeah.
That's who Jamie Foxx played as in this movie. He's
the
Mother effing Jones, I don't want to mess with
rating. What's kind of funny for me is I guess because I put in the algorithm, They Cloned Tyrone, and Jamie Foxx is attached to that. I've been getting a lot of Django clips on my on my feeds lately, and I've been watching them. So to see Jamie Foxx go from Django being a badass to Slick Charles, the most cartoonish pimp you've ever seen. It's pretty funny to watch the dude go back and forth. So
if you ever watch Living Color, that guy's very talented.
Yes, he's very talented.
Oh yeah, I remember that from back in the day.
Yeah.
And you can tell he brought in some In Living Color into this movie.
Oh yeah, David Alan Grier.
Yeah.
Yes. If he would have bought, some of the Wayans brothers or something, that'd be great too.
Oh, Kevin Strikey. If you notice, a lot of the better Netflix stuff is produced by bigger studios in association. The original Netflix stuff falls flat fast.
Exactly.
I would say the only counter that I can think of is Stranger Things. Stranger Things is pretty good.
Well, the Duffer Brothers did a good job with the Stranger Things.
Yeah, they're very talented.
And the sad thing is, this last season, they're all going to be like mid-20s, damn near.
I know.
They're almost going to be older than the Harry Potter kids at the end of Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Because my family loves Stranger Things. I watch it sort of, over their shoulder a little bit, so I'm sort of familiar. I've watched a couple episodes all the way through, and I've watched a lot of. Because the last season's coming out in November.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Kevin Strikey's right, because I really like the Sandman show.
That's good.
Yeah.
Have you seen One Piece, Daniel?
I watched
The
like 2
live action.
episodes. Yeah.
And so the live action.
'Cause I'm not an anime guy, but
I know. Like
Yeah.
well, I like some anime. I don't like it all, but this, I think it's really good. But
Oh.
the other problem with Netflix is they got to release these shows yearly and not wait 2 to 3 years, because
Right.
that One Piece show came out in 2023, and now the next season is 2026.
Oh
And that's
yeah,
a long
I know
time.
another studio that's been having
Yeah.
issues with that too.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
3 years in
it's
between.
across the board. It's
Yeah.
every single one of them. I'm like,
Yeah.
just put out your content.
Well, even HBO with House of Dragons or Dragon.
Yeah, they delayed it.
Yeah.
I think that might be coming out in 2026 or 2027. So
See, I binge watched Game of Thrones last year before,
Oh yeah.
and I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it, and then I started
Great
watching
show.
House of Dragon, and I'm like, got about halfway through, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go on to another.
Well, the problem with House of Dragon, it's just like if you read the book, it's just like a history of Westeros. So
Right.
this
Yeah.
is probably maybe 100 pages in that book of what happened and the events. So he didn't build up the characters, and the
Mhm.
show's built up.
Well, and also the time jump they did. I started getting into it, and I'm like, hey, I like this.
That time, yeah.
This main character. She's
Mhm.
gonna play. She's gonna play Supergirl, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just started to like her character, and then
Yeah.
they did a time jump, and
And then she's
replaced her. I'm
gone.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that,
I'm like,
the
okay,
first 2 girls are gone, and they did great. They're
Yeah.
probably the best part of the show, and then
Yeah.
the people that replace them with, they're good, and you'll like them, but they're not as, I don't know.
They're not the same. Yeah.
No, it's not the same.
right.
Yeah.
But it
Kevin
does
Stricken
have
is also.
Doctor
Huh?
Who in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he is amazing. Best character in there.
Kevin Strecky keeps mentioning that Fubar is really good on Netflix. That's the Arnold Schwarzenegger show.
Mm,
I haven't
okay.
seen it yet, so I couldn't say, but I've
Is
heard
that
good
a-
things.
Is that a doc?
No, it's a show. It's like I don't know. Kevin Strecky, what's it about? Tell us in the chat.
Have you
Fubar.
seen Sinners this year? Anybody?
Sinner.
The
Oh,
Ryan
the movie
Coogler?
Sinners. Yeah. With
Yeah.
what's his name?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. Yes.
I know you got to think of
Plays both
Michael
roles.
Jordan, throw a B in it.
Yeah, I know.
So-
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty.
Now that's a great movie.
Yeah.
That is a great movie. I like
Yeah.
that one. I like Ryan Coogler. I think he's a great director because he directed Creed, directed Black Panther. He's directed this, and
If you
I
ever
kinda-
want to just be, if you ever want to be super depressed, watch this first movie, Fruitville Station.
oh yeah,
It is just, oh god, it is a gut punch.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, great. The guy's a great director. He's
fantastic. Yeah,
and he
but-
might get close to Oscar this year because Sinners I think it's still in the theater. So,
I don't know if he'll get an Oscar for it. It'll
he
get
might
nominated for
writing
something, maybe.
or something. I'll get
Yeah,
a
it'll get like writing or best original, something like that. He might
Mhm.
get like an Oscar nomination, but I don't think he'll win it.
Yeah,
But he'll get nominated.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm gonna check out Fubar with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It only has a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, which for me, for a comedy, is a good sign because comedies always get destroyed on Rotten Tomatoes for no good reason.
The
I think it's
thing
got
is,
Carrie Ann Moss in it too.
look at the audience score too,
Yeah.
because I usually look at Rotten Tomatoes, look at the audience score, and then I'll look at Metacritic, and I'll look at the audience score on Metacritic, and usually they're fairly right.
Kevin Strecky says it's about a CIA agent who finds out his daughter is also an agent, and they pair up. So
Yeah, it sounds like a type of thing where I check my brain at the door and just enjoy the ride, and that's my kind of movie. I like that kind of movie, and that makes me think of another point I wanted to bring up. That kind of thing is my genre, and I wanted to point out for this movie that we just reviewed, They Cloned Tyrone. The reason why I was hesitant to give it a score, and this is sort of one of my nitpicks for some of the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, is this also was just not my genre. I'm not a big mystery sci-fi.
I love
like that. I just don't. like the slow burn kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm just not, I'm like a dog chasing cars or a baby with keys.
Yeah.
I like the pretty lights. I don't want to think too much about the movie when I watch a movie, for the most part. So it's not my genre,
Right.
which means it's like a food critic that goes to an Italian place when he hates Italian food. It's not really fair to the restaurant. Okay.
Right.
If you don't like Italian food, you shouldn't be too critical about an Italian restaurant because you're already biased against it, So I'm not a big on the thriller, mystery type of movie. So I didn't want, I don't want to be too harsh on this movie.
Yeah, you're right.
So
exactly. That's how I am with musicals. Like, they're not for me, so I don't want to rip them apart because they're not for me. So.
Right.
So you're not
I
gonna
used to
watch
hate
Wicked
musicals,
Part
and
2?
now I love them.
Yeah.
Did you see Wicked, Scott?
Yeah, I loved it. It was fantastic.
Wicked was good.
I saw it.
Wicked was great.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it on in streaming. And the next one I'm going to see in the theater, the sequel.
Dude, that was like, you should have seen the first one in the theater. It was great. It was
Yeah,
one of those.
I'm going to see the
because I saw the play last year, right? And I was kind of iffy on the play. I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. They're going to a school. They're doing this and that. And I watched the movie, and I'm like, okay, it makes more sense now. Like,
welcome to Musical Cast.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, they go to Chiz Academy for it's ridiculous, Daniel.
Yeah,
if you watch it,
it's weird.
Totally
speaking of Wicked, I'm actually about a third of the way through all of the Wizard of Oz books on books on tape, audiobooks. That's what they're called.
You want to blow your mind? Read the book, the sequel to 101 Dalmatians. It is bonkers. Yeah.
Okay.
It takes a hard turn. It ends up all the dogs are aliens.
Have you read the sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
No.
They go to space.
What?
They fight. I forget who they fight, like some sort of aliens. Something NIDS.
Okay.
It goes.
I'm starting to see where the Fast and Furious guys got their inspiration from.
Yeah.
It goes off the rails. It's like, whoa.
Like, let's take a hard right turn here, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why they didn't make that into a movie, because there's no way they can make the sequel.
That's funny.
It's way out there. So.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much wrapping it up. If we're talking about other movies and other stuff, so
yeah.
Well, again, guys, no show next week for the 4th of July. And then because I won't win my contest and I'll be too sad.
No,
so,
I don't know.
Oh, I have a good feeling. I have a good feeling about this.
Yeah. No, I do too. Honestly, it's just just in case.
But you know what? You're a finalist, so
yeah, that's a big deal.
That says something right there.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
Says something right there.
If I wrote something, they'd laugh at me and cover it in red ink and say you're an idiot. So
yeah. Well, we'll find out tomorrow.
Got some talent, and we're super proud of you, and we're pulling for you. So good luck to you. So no show next week. Week after, we're going to be doing the predictions show. We got the Lansing, the Capital City Comic-Con that I'm going to be at. If anybody's in Michigan, check it out. Go to just Google, and I'll put a link in like the Facebook group and stuff. And I've been doing that this week.
Let's write some questions that you can give Mr. Wong.
I sent an email requesting an interview. That those usually get shot down pretty quick, especially with your bigger stars. But if I have an opportunity to ask a follow-up question. Also in 2 weeks that we're gonna go there Saturday morning. We're staying the night, and we might stop by there Sunday morning as well. So I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to be able to do the show. But the Friday night before that, we've got tickets to go see Superman in IMAX. So that's going to be a huge weekend.
Can we do a review on that one, like at the end of this show?
I want to.
Like, you do your predictions, and then let's do the review at the end.
Yeah. We should definitely talk about it.
I'm sure we'll talk about it. Yeah,
because
you're going to go see it.
That's the biggest one in the summer, I think. So.
Yeah.
Oh, by far. Yeah,
I've got my tickets for that Amazon Prime couple days early screening.
Yep, I got
Yeah.
the Tuesday ones. So ready.
Here's the
They're
bear
doing
of
a
it,
good
though.
job marketing this one. They're pulling out all the stops. They're spending some
Yeah.
money.
I want to buy the
every
dog
time I
bowl.
see
Yeah.
every time I see something on TikTok where they're at, I skip right past it. I don't want to see
Yep.
anything. I've been sucked into a
Yes,
couple
I don't want to
things,
see
but
anything. Yes, like no more trailers.
I want
just
everything to be a
show the
surprise.
movie.
I'm not watching any more trailers anymore.
Yep.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yep.
So
Here's my
I'm
problem,
gonna be going
though.
social media dark that week.
I bought 2 tickets for this thing, thinking, I'm sure I'll find someone to go with me and it'll be fun. Because it's a Tuesday, I can't find anyone to go with me because everyone's so busy. You're right.
Oh
Man.
no.
So, like, yeah.
I need to
Someone
move
got-
up to Idaho with you.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
Movie buddy.
Yeah.
So
So right now I'm gonna go by myself.
If
you ought
I
to start a
I
movie
was
club up
ridiculously
there.
wealthy, I would get a plane ticket.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely a movie that you want to share with somebody. So
Well, right now I'm currently at 43 movies for the summer or for the
Oh,
year.
wow.
So
Yeah. You're getting there.
I got a notebook. I've been writing them down. Which ones I'm.
Oh wow.
So
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool.
I wish I was
and
that
probably
organized.
half of them are all old movies. That's the funny
Yeah.
thing. Like nothing's.
You gotta
new.
watch Mean Girls.
I think I already
Throw that
seen
in
that
the-
one.
Oh, okay.
I've seen
Well, never mind.
the new one and the musical.
Oh, well,
So,
okay.
You know, so I've seen
All right.
Mean Girls.
All right. Well, okay. Since we're talking Mean Girls, that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And
All right,
another
guys.
musical.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys in 2
All right.
weeks.
We'll
All
see
right,
you in a couple
bye.
weeks.
Bye.
This is Captain Benjamin Sisko of Deep Space Nine and Space God to the Bajorans. I have a mission for you. This falls outside of Starfleet guidelines, so I can't order you, but I'm asking for volunteers. Volunteers who will subscribe to the Trekcast YouTube channel, leave 5-star reviews on your podcast app of choice, and share Trekcast across your social media accounts. If we can make our audience bigger, we might have a chance against the Dominion. Are you ready? Subscribe, like, and share. Are you with me?